see an old-style town. The town sign said Strasburg, Indiana. It was crossed over, spelling the word Eden. We see some men on a horse carriage going through an underdeveloped road. They pass by some happy citizens, waving to them as the men smile and wave back. Inside the homes, we see Amish women knitting, while several others were hanging laundry on thin wires. We see kids coming from the church holding books as several young male teenagers are feeding horses and pigs. The Amish community was bustling. Even though it was in winter with a cold atmosphere, we see a couple of little kids running together in the field. As they ran, the little sister stopped her taller one. "Mary, no, we can't go anymore. Mother and Father said the bad place was there," she told her. "We'll be okay. I've talked to Joseph. As long as we don't get too close, we'll be okay," Mary told Annie. Little Annie was scared and held onto her sister's hand. Mary leads her sister. In the woods, we see several walkers coming out of the woods and entering a field. They make it to the open square where the two girls were standing. The zombies were snarling as the young girls looked on the group coming towards them. Annie buried her face in fear into her sister's dress. Mary held on to her little sister as the walkers came closer. Suddenly, the zombie disappeared in a split second downwards, landing in a massive ditch. The girls watch on as the zombies fall down into the deep trench. The massive trench was 5 feet deep, and it zooms out as we see the trench as it goes further on than the girls' area. It expands as we see acres and acres of zombies trapped in the trenches. The trench completely surrounded the Amish community and even had a large amount of crop and farmland on the inside. The entire area was inside of the trench. We see a man approaching another man, handing him some tools. "Samuel? Isaiah?" The men greet each other. "God be good. Doesn't look like we'll be getting snow this year," he told him. "God be good indeed." Suddenly, the men see a black Humvee truck as a man goes to a bell and pulls on the rope, ringing it loudly. We see families in their homes look outside. Everyone in the town center began to clear the road as the black Humvee and several trucks enter the Amish community. The girls hear the bell going off. "Oh no, Mother and Father will worry about us," she told Mary. Mary took her sister's hand. "Come on, let's hurry!" She took off running. The girls ran as fast as they could, as in the trench we see the zombies piling inside of it. One of the zombies pushes another one down. The zombie then tries to use the other as a ladder as it climbs to the top. The zombie tries reaching. We see the men and a few women look on as the car doors open. We see Commander Liza and Benjamin step out of the car with other Patriots. "Remember, no guns in hand unless absolutely necessary," she told them. "We may control these people, but they still have rules," she told them. "We want them to feel safe with us around, not threatened," she said. "I understand, Commander Brooks," Benjamin told her. They walked together and saw Isaiah. She offered her hand. "It's a pleasure to see you again," she told him. "And it's a pleasure to see you again, ma'am. How's the community been doing since last month?" she asked. "We're doing okay, God be praised. The weather has been good, but we're getting a lot of rain and the trenches are filling up. But we are still blessed. Crops have been very stable, but we've had 3 deaths. Lord rest their souls." "I'm sorry to hear that, Isaiah. This is Corporal Hunter. He's my subordinate. He was a former leader of a reclaimed city in West Virginia. He'll be assisting you," she told him. "It's a pleasure to meet you, young man." He shook Benjamin's hand. Benjamin didn't say anything, as behind him, Ben appeared. "Someone needs to give Abraham Lincoln his clothes back. What the fuck is he wearing?" Benjamin ignored him. "Isaiah, would you mind showing Hunter here the town? I will sort out the business with your brother," she said. "By all means," he told her. The young girls finally arrived at their home. "Where have you two been?" their mother asked. "I'm sorry, we were..." Annie cried before Mary interrupted her. "We were reading and lost track of time, Mother. I'm sorry, it was my fault," she said. "Never mind that. Come inside quickly. We'll speak about this later when your father is home," she said, bringing them in. Benjamin and Isaiah walked around as Benjamin looked on. "What would you like to see? Looking for anything in particular?" he asked. Benjamin opened up. Commander Brooks told me about the trench. I want to see it, he told him. Benjamin and Isaiah walked out in the field. As they walked, Benjamin and him walked with his former darker self following him. How the fuck is this Joker and the other Jokers still alive? Ben asked. Benjamin turned to him. Isaiah, besides the trench, how are you and your community still alive? You would have had more deaths in the last 3 years, Benjamin said. You are correct. We've had our fair share of deaths. Some killed by the spawns, and some of natural causes, he told him. We keep them tied up in the cellars until you all come. It's part of the arrangement, taking care of our dead and threats in exchange for eggs, butter, and simple household trinkets, he stated. Have you ever been to an Amish community before the world was changed? He asked. Fuck no, beard man, Ben said. Benjamin told him to be quiet. No, I never did, but my father wanted to take me and my mother to one. He worked hard his whole life, wanted to teach me the value of an honest and simple living. We never got a chance to, however. He would have loved coming here. My mother, not so much, he told him. May I ask what happened to them? Are they still here, or are they with the Lord? He asked. Oh my god, can you just kill this guy? Ben said. Benjamin nodded and let go of his gun. They're dead, he told him. Enough questions, he said. Isaiah turned to him. I agreed with Commander Brooks on their trade. I swallowed my pride. I have a wife and 2 girls, and you probably don't have children. But if you do, there's nothing you wouldn't do for them. I would do anything for my children, even surrender our home and break our backs providing for your people. But trust me, it can't last forever, he said. Nothing lasts forever, Benjamin told him. They kept moving. Here we are. They got to the trench and looked on. Benjamin saw the trench. Multiple walkers were inside. He saw some footsteps all over the grass. Small shoes. You called them the spawn earlier? Benjamin pulled out his machete and got ready. Wait, he stated. What the hell for? Benjamin asked. They're piling up. You've got a serious problem, he told him. You need to say a prayer for them, so their souls can depart and reach the afterlife, he told him. Ben laughed. The fuck? I think this guy's a few fucking hairs short of a full fucking beard, Ben said, as Benjamin was annoyed. Are you serious? He asked. Suddenly, his radio went off. Hunter, report, Liza asked. Benjamin took the radio. Tell her to go fuck herself, Ben said as Benjamin pressed the button. Commander Brooks, this is Hunter. I'm at the trench border with Isaiah inspecting the trench, he told her. How serious? She asked. It's piling up. The dead are filling it. We're gonna have some get through if we don't take care of this, he told her. Understood. I'll send your squad, she told him. We see Benjamin and the other Patriots killing the zombies in the trench. Private Reiner, Lannon, Parsons, Cook, Calvert, Dunn, Dean, and Carroll. I combed through the trench, Commander. I counted at least 473 biters, and counting more in the trenches, he told her. This is a problem. This is the most infected they've ever had here, she told him. So what do you suggest? He asked her. I need to take the supplies back to the general. I want you and your squad to take care of the dead, she told him. Benjamin noticed that. They're dead or the dead? He asked. Both, she told him. Holy fuck. This bitch has no idea you're fucked, Ben said. I want you to help Isaiah bury his dead. Respect the rules and take care of the herd. I want as little as casualties as possible, she told him. These people may not realize the cruel world they live in, but they're useful. They dug that trench themselves when the dead started to rise. These Amish are strong. They're hard workers, and we need them, she said. And remember, Corporal, you're still on probation. Don't want any fuck-ups or plans behind my back. If you so much as try to leave, we'll know, she told him. Liza left with the other Patriots, taking the supplies and exiting in the Humvees. The soldiers watched on as she left. Benjamin's squad looked scared. In the house, we see little Mary walking through the house, past her mother. She looks outside the window. Mary, keep away from the window and help me set up the table, she ordered her. What are they doing? she asked. Outside, the men were shouting and gathering pitchforks. Benjamin was near the trench as he began stabbing the zombies. Keep your distance from the dead! Circle the trenches and push them back! Don't get too close! Use the pitchforks and shovels! Benjamin and the other Patriots were using the shovels and pushing the zombies back into the trenches. Benjamin used his machete, killing the dead. Mary ran up the stairs and looked at the window and looked in the distance. She was looking at the trench in the far distance. Mary watched as far away as she looked, seeing many men in the trench. Father's home, she heard. Hi, dear, how are you? Their mother greeted him. Isaiah put his hat down. Fine, I'm just hoping the Patriots take care of that spawn and leave. I don't want them to press their luck like last time. The girls ran and hugged their father. Are you all right, Father? The monsters didn't get you, did they? Little Annie asked. No, sweet Annie, I'm all right, he told them. Father, the spawn won't get in, will they? There's a lot more of them than before, she said. How do you know that? He asked. I heard someone earlier today saw it. Mary lied. Is it true? She asked. Enough of that. Let's wash up and have supper. Go on, he said. Benjamin went down the cellar with Jedediah, and they looked, seeing the dead. 2 old men and an old woman. They die of old age? He asked. Nehemiah died of a heart attack in the field. Eli had a stroke, and the woman passed in her sleep, he stated sadly. Benjamin noticed it. Who was she? He asked. My mother, Miriam, he said. Benjamin took his knife out. Wait, let me pray for them, he said. Hurry it up. I need to get them buried and get back to my squad, Benjamin said. Jedediah said his prayers and backed away. Benjamin moved forward and stabbed all 3 zombies in the head, killing them without showing any emotion. There you go, killer, Ben said. Benjamin sat them down and started to wrap them in blankets. Make them thick so there's no blood, he stated. Benjamin didn't care. Ben stood over him, asking if it reminded him of anyone. Jedediah asked to bury his mother personally, or at least help, but Benjamin didn't care. As they laid their dead, Benjamin and the other Patriots left the community to mourn as the little girl approached him. Mister, she said. Thank you for putting my grandma to rest, she said, thanking Benjamin. Benjamin wasn't fazed, as he saw her parents slowly walking to her. Go back with your family, he said, turning and leaving. Wow, fucking rude, killer, but smart. That little girl should stay away from you. You don't want her death on your fucking conscience too, which is technically me, he said. Do you fucking love torturing me? For months, all you've done is talk, and I'm fucking sick of your fucking mouth, you asshole. So leave me the fuck alone, he said. You know, most people's consciences tell them what's right and wrong. They say don't steal, don't kill that son of a bitch, even though it feels so fucking good if you do, but not you. Face it, princess, you're stuck with me, because I'm you, and there's no fucking way I'm leaving you this time. So get comfy, because we're roommates until you fucking die, he said. Benjamin was losing it as Parsons approached him. Sir, he said. Who are you talking to? He asked. No one. What is it? Benjamin asked. Back in Huntington, we see a mass of people in the town hall screaming. Rachel looked on at the massive crowd of angered citizens. When are we going to take these Patriots out of our city? Why not is Benjamin coming back? What about all the dead? You expect us to just forget about them? The crowd rambled on. Everyone, please, one at a time! Adrian shouted for everyone to shut up. He was loud, and everyone stopped as his mother Charlotte stood up. Rachel, I know you're a good woman, but they murdered my son. And what is there to stop them from doing it again? Doing it again to any of us, she asked. What about Peter? Sarah stood up. Dina was finally starting to accept him as a father, and now he's dead, and his killer is still out there. What am I supposed to tell her? I'm sorry, Dina, but we just have to forget about him. Sarah cried. Kitten's father was up. They killed my son! They have to pay! He shouted. Everyone! Rachel shouted loudly, nearly losing her voice. I know you all are angry. The Patriots killed our loved ones and invaded our home. We fought for this place. We took the city back from the dead, and now they're taking it from us. I'm not asking you all to forget your dead. I haven't. But we are still too much at a disadvantage to do anything about it. Let's say we take up arms and take back the city from the 50 Patriots here. What then? She asked. We go to their home and kill them, a man said. Okay, and then what? She said. Most of our fighters were taken out in the displacement center and hydro plant, and even though we still have some remaining fighters and guns, the Patriots took all of our weapons and gas, so we can't travel distances anymore, she said. Who's going to lead a revolution? She asked. Will you do it? She asked Dan. Dan? Dan was unsure. Or you? Or me? She said. I can't. As you all know, I'm currently in my first trimester of pregnancy. She stood up, revealing her bump. I can't go out there. I can't fight anymore. I can barely get up in the morning without throwing up, she said. I love the people we lost. Their deaths, Carla and the others, was a tragedy, and I don't want any of you to experience that ever again. But they still have my husband. They have Sean. They still have the advantage after these months. If we attack now, we'll be beaten again. We underestimated them once. We were so focused on building our community and the branches, we left ourselves exposed to an attack. They came after us. They had everything planned out. We don't. The Patriots have been helping us expand the walls with a gun pointed at our heads. I'm not an idiot. Once they don't need us, they'll fire it. I'm angry, but we can't just act on our emotions. We have to not only an obligation to the dead we lost, but also to our children. What happens to them if we fail? What happens to them if we're not here anymore? Please, I promise you that I have not forgotten our dead and captured. I'm asking you all to please continue trusting me as your leader. I will fix this, and we will have our home back without the Patriots, just not yet, she said, as everyone listened. Outside, some Patriots were setting up the walls and clearing up the dead. Rachel was rubbing her noticeable bump on her stomach, showing her pregnancy now. She was pale. Lieutenant Hill approached her. Are you all right, ma'am? He asked. I'm all right. Thank you, Lieutenant, she said. Rachel turned to him. Is Benjamin? She asked. What's the deal with him? Is he your... He asked. Brother, she lied. Hill nodded, not convinced. I see. So, may I ask who the father of your child? He asked. Rachel was upset. He's dead. Victor. His name was Victor. I don't even know if he's still alive. I lost him out there, she said. I'm sorry, he said. My wife, Jenny, was bit at the start. The girls and I have been getting by ever since, he said. Susie and Julia. I love them. When you have kids, you get scared because you realize that there's nothing, and I mean nothing, you wouldn't do for them. But unfortunately, with kids, they're vulnerable. And that makes you vulnerable too, he said. Look, I know we're not friends. Your brother killed my friends and comrades. But you are good people. I don't condone everything our leader does, but sometimes you play the role you're given in the story, he said. Me? I'm the nice guy trying to figure out how to keep my family alive and happy, he said. I am too, Rachel said. We're running low on food. Our people are beginning to starve, she said. I'm sorry about that, Rachel. I really am. But it's out of my hands, he said, walking away. Later, Rachel entered her home and saw Tyler. Tyler hugged her. Hey, how'd it go? He said, seeing Rachel cry. What's wrong? He asked. It's just so hard without him, she said. They sat down. Sometimes I wake up thinking he'll just come walking past that door, but, she said, embarrassed. I'm sorry, Tyler said, not knowing what to say. Benjamin is the strongest person I know, and without him... Rachel, you are the strongest person I know, he said. Not in fighting. Keeping the peace all these months. I don't even think Benjamin could have done that. Your restraint is amazing, he said. We can't fight because we're weak, she said. We'll get through this, Tyler said, comforting her. What if we don't, she said. We will, Tyler finished. Meanwhile, Trevor was watching and looking around and talked to Hill. What the fuck? Why are we helping them with their walls? He asked. Because it's our job to. We don't just take what we want from people and murder anyone we come across that's not the Patriots' way, he told him. So, you think we should bend over backwards for them instead? They killed our people. They're the enemy, not our friends, he told him. They're our people now. The general's orders. Maybe if you listened to them more, you wouldn't be here right now. Eh? Captain? Oh no, wait. It's Sergeant now. Trevor backed off, smirking. We then see Trevor open a box. He gets several men. I want you all to install these everywhere, he stated. Hidden. Make sure no one finds them, he stated. The men take something from the boxes, something very small and black, as they take them and start going house to house and room to room. Tyler is pushed back from seeing the men in his house, and he looks on, angered. They were doing something, and he didn't like it. In the distance, you see Patrick walking around. He was outside the walls with a couple other people. Kat, Adrian, and a few other men in the community. So what's going on, Dad? Why are we out here? He asked. It's been 2 months since the Patriots came and took over. And I don't know about you, but I am fucking sick of it, he stated. I'm sick of sleeping with one eye open. And I'm sick of that demented fuck who killed my son still walking and breathing, he stated. Everyone listened on. I was a mayor before the outbreak. I was elected for 2 terms. You may say none of that matters now, but it still does to me, because I took care of people. I took care of the town. People had jobs, dreams, and goals. They wanted to be safe and feed their families, but we're barely getting by. The Dawsons haven't sent us food in months, so they're keeping out of this, he told them. We need them, he stated. For what? Kat asked. War, Patrick stated. We're gonna take back our home from these fuckers one way or another, he told all of them. He signaled some men. The men were carrying bags and dropped them. The heavy bags landed on the ground. They unzipped them, revealing a stockpile of guns and ammo. Before they came, Benjamin had an emergency stash kept off-site in case we needed more guns. Now that time has come. The Patriots took our families, they took our home, and our freedom. They will not take our future. I think it's time we repaid them. Blood for blood, he stated. Adrian picked up a gun. I'm with you, Dad. They need to pay. For William, he said. For William and everyone they took from us. The others passed around the guns as Kat looked on, nervous and unsure of what they were going to do. We see soldiers walking with Sean in the hallway. Sean was indifferent as he looked, seeing their sidearms. Where are you taking me? He asked. Be quiet, they said. Fuck you! Sean blurted out. Why, you damn brat! He said, before the others stopped him. Let it go, Myers. We're almost there anyways. Besides, the general said not to harm him. Sean was pissed. If he ever saw Miles again, he was going to kill him. The men opened the door as Sean was pushed forward. Move, they said, as Sean gave them dead eyes. He heard zombies and turned around. Seeing restrained zombies, Sean was freaking out. He tried to run. No, let me go! I'll fucking kill you all! He shouted. Whoa, easy, don't hurt him! He heard a voice say. Sean turned around and saw a young, beautiful woman with auburn hair. Alice spoke up. It's okay. My name is Dr. Alice Warren. We're not going to hurt you, she told him. Sean looked at her. You're a doctor? He asked. I am. Of a kind, she said. You're a doctor. For them? He asked. Why? He asked, confused. Alice smiled. Thank you, gentlemen. I can take it from here, she said. Are you sure? They asked. I'm sure I'll be fine, Alice said. The men nodded and left, closing the lab door. Sean watched them leave as Alice approached him. Sean took a step back, alarmed. Alice stopped. It's okay. I know you're scared. Alice sat down by the table. Are you hungry? She asked. Sean looked at the sandwich. You're not allergic to mustard and ham and cheese, are you? She asked. Sean sat down on the opposite side from her. He threw the sandwich and the plate to the ground, startling her. Fuck you and your sandwich, he said. Alice was offended. Okay, I was just trying to be nice, she said. Nice? Nice? You murdered my friends and kept me away from my family for 2 fucking months, and now you're trying to be my friend? He asked, angry. I didn't kill anyone, she defended. Your boss did. That son of a bitch. I don't trust you. I hate Miles for what he did, and I swear he'll pay for it. Did he ask you to get me to confess everything I know? Let my guard down? Well, guess what? Fuck you if you think you're getting anything valuable out of me. I told that asshole where my community was, and he murdered my best friend. He told her. What was her name? She asked. Carla. She was older than me. But when the outbreak happened, she and my dad and Benjamin saved me. A group of soldiers killed my mom. They saved me. I would have died if it wasn't for them. And when she needed me, I couldn't save her, he said. Your people? Your leader did that. Your leader is a fucking psychopath, and I will make sure he dies and burns in hell for what he did, Sean threatened. Alice was disturbed. Sean, I know things have been hard for you, she said. You don't know shit! You stay in this fancy lab with a bunch of fucking corpses, but you don't see the real ugliness out there. It's people, he told her. There was a long silence. Why the fuck am I here anyway? He asked. Because the general asked me to watch you. He wants you to start contributing to the community. And so, you're going to be my new assistant, she told him. The fuck I will! Sean shouted. At dusk, Benjamin was by himself, killing the trench zombies as he throws them on the pile. His men were exhausted as he turned to them. Sir, with all due respect, we're exhausted, Cook said. Yeah, we've been killing and piling biters for 8 hours, and the trench is still not done, Calvert stated. Go rest up. I don't care. I'll deal with them myself if I have to. Commander Brooks wants them gone, and I don't want to delay her, he told him. They left Benjamin as Ben appeared. I thought they'd never fucking leave, Ben said. Benjamin groaned. I'm too fucking tired to hear your shit again, he said. Ben sat down next to him. Benjamin tried to walk away when he looked at the pile. He saw John's body, Hannah's body, Rebecca's body, Brandon's body. Then, Mom, Dad, and all the others. No, fucking fuck, no, fuck, no! Benjamin was grabbing his head, trying to look away as he began to breathe heavily, hearing screaming. No! Leave me alone! He shouted. He saw their faces, and then they all called him. Why didn't you save me, Ben? I thought you cared about me. You were supposed to protect me. Benjamin was crying. What do you want from me? I'm just a man! He shouted, as he turned and saw Sean and Rachel standing in front of him. Benjamin then looked, seeing them bleeding from their chests. No! He shouted. Benjamin woke up in the middle of the field. It was night. Benjamin was mere feet from the trenches, as the zombies were still trying to climb up and get to him. Benjamin was breathing heavily as his heart raced. Benjamin was panicking as he held onto his heart. Benjamin was scared like never before. He heard ringing everywhere. He couldn't even hear the dead growling next to him anymore. Everything was blurry. Was he dying? Benjamin held onto his chest. Slowly, his heartbeat down. As he exhaled more and more. Why do you hate me? Ben asked. Why do you hate yourself? I thought after marrying Rachel, you were done. But you're not. You're still holding onto all the dead, but won't let them go. You're not real. You're the darkness I want to bury, Benjamin said. I hated you because you are me. I think back to what I did to Mourners, what I did to him. I still don't regret cutting into him, tearing out his fingers and eyes, toes, teeth. I still hear his screams play back in my head over and over again. And I hear the others. My parents would be ashamed of who I've become. I've tried to be a good man, save everyone even after I lost John and Brandon and Rebecca. But maybe you're right. Maybe I was just fucking fooling myself. Maybe there's no point. Maybe I am the monster in this story, he said. No one wants to be the villain in the story, man. But let's be honest. The amount of people on your body count, that doesn't go away. I mean, look at me. You're fucking hallucinating me all day, every day. That's not normal. You're not normal, he said. Maybe that's a good thing. Why would you want to be fucking normal in a world like this? You don't want to be some pacifist fuck that never kills. But you couldn't kill everyone all the time either. You were raised too well. You love Rachel and the others too much, Ben said. I love Rachel. I miss her so much. I hate that I can't be there for her. I wish I could just leave, but I can't. Rachel wouldn't be safe as long as the Patriots existed. As long as Trevor and Liza and Caden are still alive, Benjamin told him. So what are you waiting for? Go fucking kill them all, he said. One more fight. You've never let anything stop you before. So why now? Why let a bunch of commie fucks stop you from seeing your wife and going back home? I want to fucking see Rachel again too, Ben said. Benjamin was surprised. I thought you didn't care about anything except tormenting me, he said. I am you, the dark you. But even I will do anything to keep Rachel safe. I do anything to keep them safe. That's why you made me, he said. It's the one thing that connects to both of us, he said, keeping her safe. The next day, we see Isaiah sit down at the table with his family. The girls all smile and look at him. They all hold hands and say grace. Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful bounty, he says with hesitance, showing the table not having much food on it, that you have blessed us with. Thank you for another day of blessings. Thank you for these people who protect us, even though it's hard, so hard to work with them. Please give them mercy and give us patience to face the day. Thank you for protecting my children and wife, Betty. Please give us protection. Your humble servants thank you. Amen, he says as the family says amen. How is school going, girls? He asked as they all split the food. Good, Father. Annie really improved on her sewing, she said. That's good. And I'm learning more about art. Mrs. Fisher is teaching us how to draw portraits now. We're trying to draw Jesus, but I'm afraid I might mess up, she said. You'll do fine, dear, Mom said. Father, little Annie asked. What is it, dear? The monsters in the trenches. They're not going to get us, are they? She asked. Annie, why would you ask that? He said. Mary looked at her sister. It's just, I get scared of them. I don't want them to hurt you, she said, getting upset. Isaiah hugged his daughter. Don't worry, Annie. I'm going to be around for a long time. God be good. I'm not leaving you girls ever, he said. In Helios, we see men unloading the trucks in the marketplace. 4 dozen candles, 100 sets of new clothing, and blankets, 36 bars of soap, 18 bags of rye, corn, wheat, and barley, they marked down. That's less than last month, the recorder said. We see Chris, Jessica, and the boys all walking together in the marketplace. They look around, seeing signs everywhere. People were selling things in the stalls. Fresh soap, toilet paper, the seller shouted. Dylan and Jordan got some supplies, as Jessica took some money from her pocket. It's from Liza, she said. Chris groaned in frustration. He gave some money to his sons. You boys, buy what you need, he stated. Dylan looks, seeing Alice at sight. I wish I could do more, she said, shaking the woman's hand. The woman took the bottle. Thank you so much, Alice. God bless you. She pocketed the small, clear bottle. Alice walked away as Dylan looked somewhere else, trying not to get caught staring. What if I clean your room tomorrow? He asked. I don't know, the seller said. Please, I need this for my family, he said. Dylan looked, seeing some people giving their watches and rings and whatever. The people were taking them and giving them some money in the barter stand. It's worse than I remember. No wonder Mom and Dad made us leave last year, Jordan said. He sat down. I miss Sean. I hope he's okay, he told them. They were grabbing necessities when Dr. Evans showed up. Hello, Chris. Jessica. It's good to see you two again, he told them. Dr. Evans, hello, he said. How are you two adjusting? I haven't seen either of you since I cleared you, he said. We're adjusting, she said. My sister lifted our restrictions, so we're allowed to move through the inside now, Jessica said. Still prisoners in our own home, Chris said. Not here, Jessica said, since someone was going to hear them. I see. Well, I hope your boys are doing well. Say, Chris, would you mind coming for a checkup around 3 in the afternoon next Tuesday? He asked. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Caden has me on garbage duty for the next year, so I have all the time in the world, he said. Splendid, the doctor said. Well, I'll leave you to it. Take care, he said. He waved him off as Dylan looked, seeing Lieutenant Hill was on the walkway watching him. Elsewhere upstairs, we see Liza and Caden in a bed together as they cuddle. He gets up, getting dressed as he pours her a drink. Here, he said. Thanks, she says, taking it. How is the family settling in? Any better? He asked. Liza sipped her drink. They're better. She tried to get up, but winced. Ow! She said. What's wrong? Liza held him to her side. It's my damn scar again, she said. Caden looked at her. Hasn't gotten any better after all these years, he told her. Not really. They say time heals all wounds, but that's bull shit, she said. It is. After I lost Lacey and Kaylee, it wasn't the years that helped me through it. It was you, he said. He took her hand. I don't know what I would have done without you, Liza, he said. They kissed again. You should go talk to Dr. Evans, he told her. I'll schedule an appointment, he stated. Thank you. Hey, can I ask you something? She said. What is it? He asked. Do you ever think about what's after all of this? Like, if we do take down the CRM, what then? She asked. I mean, what's the plan for after that happens? She asked. I guess I didn't think about it that much, he said. Why not? She asked. Because the future. I'll know it when I see it. It's not smart to plan for something if you don't achieve it. If we devote all our resources into every aspect of the future, we won't have any. There's so many people who think about what they would do for the future. Look at our past. People said slavery was the future. Then they said it was freedom. Then they said it was love. Then they said it was war, patriotism. Human beings use the future to fit their own agendas, he said. But not us, she said. No. We understand the real threat. The dead won't be here forever. If we can outlast them in our community, we can pull our resources together and really restart this country, he said. I know we have to send a message, but I want to try sending it without so much bloodshed. I get that we had to execute those people, but did it really have to be in front of Sean? He's just a kid, she said. Sorry about that. Sometimes I forget that kids are still kids deep down. They grow up faster in this world. I promise I'll do better, he told her. She kissed him. That's what I love about you. Always have, she said. Sometimes I wish Lacey was still here, but at least they can rest, she said. You still think about them when you're with me. I can see it, she said. I do, Caden admitted. Kaylee would have been 23 next month, he said. I know, she said, sad. I think about what I could have done differently with Wells back then. But then I realize it doesn't matter. No matter how smart or who we are now, we can't undo the past, he told her. Time moves forward, not backwards, she stated. Time is one hell of a bitch. Sometimes I wish I could just wake up, walk away from all of this, and not have so many responsibilities. We were never in charge before. We're leading the future of survival. I tell you, keeping our species from extinction is hell, he said. It is, she said. But in the end, it'll be worth it. And there's no one I'd rather struggle with leading humanity into the future than you, Liza. You were always there for me, no matter what, he said, as she talked. You know, speaking of futures and kids, what if we, she said when the door knocked. General, Trevor said. I asked not to be disturbed, he told him. I know, sir, but this is important, he said. Trevor looked on and went to the door. I'm sorry, sir, but you need to see this, he said. Back in Eden, we see the Amish men in the fields working. We then see a herd of about 100 make it to the trench. As the zombies fall in the trench, they begin to land on their stomachs. As more and more land down, one of the zombies watches and waits as the masses of zombies fall down the trench, becomes filled, and the lone zombie walks on the dead, stepping over their backs. We then see Mary in the field with some of the other children as they picked flowers. She blew dandelions everywhere as they laughed when she looked, seeing a pig running towards her. What's wrong with the piggy? She asked as it squealed, running away. Mary stood up and looked at the field and saw people on their knees. She then looked, seeing that something was eating the pig. It snarled at her as it stood up and walked to her. Mary saw it and turned around quickly before running. Run! Run! She said. Father! Father! She screamed as the dead were coming towards them. Meanwhile, Benjamin and the other Patriots were burning the last of the dead when they heard screaming. What the hell? Benjamin grabbed Cook's rifle. Come on! He ordered as they ran. Benjamin ran with them as Isaiah and some of the other men came with tools. Annie and the other young children looked on. Suddenly, they heard a scream. The men took their tools and weapons, seeing them. Father! They shouted. Get him inside! They shouted. The men looked, seeing zombies covered in blood as they were coming. Protect us, he said. Benjamin fired his rifle, killing a zombie. Benjamin and his team fired their guns, killing the dead, when one appeared behind Samuel and bit him. They looked on in horror as Benjamin put him out of his misery. The men were crying, devastated, as Benjamin looked on indifferent. Benjamin pulled out a pistol and handed it to Isaiah. Take this, he stated. What? I could never, he said. Take the fucking gun! You said you would do anything to protect your girls. Now is the time to prove it, he ordered him. My God forbids it, he said. Well, I forbid fucking cowards, he stated. Benjamin shoved the gun into his hand, forcefully making him take it. They advanced against the dead. Minutes later, the infected were all dead, as Benjamin looked, seeing them wrap Samuel for burial. Benjamin looked at his team. You guys stay here, he ordered, as he walked to Isaiah. The paradise at the end of the world is over. The world ended. The dead don't care if you're modern or Amish, because they will come and never stop trying to kill your girls and everyone here. They want to eat them. You understand? So swallow that stupid fucking pride and man up, because the dead came knocking at your door and you weren't ready to answer them, he warned them. Benjamin left them with the gun. You can keep it. Don't tell anyone, he told him. Benjamin left, walking away in the field, as Ben was walking next to him. There you go. He's got to learn. They all do, he said. Benjamin agreed. I am done being the nice guy they want me to be, Benjamin said. I decided you were right, Benjamin told his darker self, then smiled at him. Right? What was I fucking right about? He asked. About being done with this. But being nice. I want to see Rachel and Sean again. I need to see them again. I'm dying without them, he stated. Benjamin pulled a piece of paper out. I got this last month from someone in Helios. I need to find out who it is. I thought it could be a trap, but I'm done with these fucking tests and games and being their errand boy, he said, pissed. What are you going to do? Ben asked. I'm gonna take down the Patriots. Burn Helios to the fucking ground. And then I'm gonna kill Miles, Benjamin stated as it cut to black.